Reverend Fathers, Reverend Sisters, ICP delegates, guests, all our esteemed guests, friends, a very good afternoon to one and all of you. Once again, for those of you who joined this afternoon, my name is Neil Gonsalves, and I'm going to be your MC for this afternoon. Well, after that soul-searching and highly intellectual exercise, well, not the sadhya, but the panel discussion that we had, we are here for the much-awaited annual award function of the ICPA. But before everything, we begin with a prayer. And today, we have with us students of St. Anthony's High School, run by the CSST sisters, with a prayer dance. You may kindly be seated. Over to you.
Sari സത്യപ്രകാശമേ മുക്തിദായക ശ്രീയേശുനായക വന്ദനം. സത്യപ്രകാശമേ മുക്തിദായക ശ്രീയേശുനായക വന്ദനം. അണയൂ ഈ വേദി അനുഗ്രഹിക്കൂ ദേവാസമോദം, അനുഗ്രഹിക്കൂ ദേവാ, അനുഗ്രഹിക്കൂ ദേവാ.
Well, that was indeed beautiful and elevating. We now begin the official function, the award function of ICPA. It is time to invite our luminary guests on stage. First, let me, as per the ICPA protocol and constitution, request on stage our President, Sri Ignatius Gonzalez. With a round of applause, we shall invite him on stage. And I also request Mr. Jose Vincent, our two-time former secretary, to ceremonially welcome him. Now we have Mr. Jose Vincent, a two-term former secretary, to ceremonially welcome our president by adorning him with a multi-purpose shawl, a usable shawl, and a copy of the Christian Contribution in Nation Building. It was authored by Mr. Joseph Gatia, an award winner today. A round of applause. All other dignitaries will be similarly welcomed by our President. May I now call upon Honorable Justice Sunil Thomas of High Court of Kerala, who is the chief guest of this function, to kindly occupy the dais. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as he is welcomed on stage. Next, we have our own, and I can call it proudly as our own, We have with us His Excellency Bishop Dr. Henry D'Souza, who is the Bishop of Bellary, and more importantly, the advisor that is deputed for us, the ICPA. A round of applause as we welcome him on stage. He's been assigned to the ICPA as its ecclesiastical advisor, a prophetic spiritual face of this organization. Next, I take this opportunity to welcome on stage Professor Mary Matilda, who is a retired principal of the famous Maharaja's College Ernakulam. Welcome, ma'am. A round of applause as she is also ceremonially welcomed on stage. Thank you. To offer the welcome address today, we have with us Reverend Father Vincent, who is the chief editor of Teenage Magazine. Welcome, Father, to offer the welcome address.
Good afternoon to you all. Hello, good afternoon to you all. Oh, you're awake. Our chief guest, Honorable Justice Sunil Thomas, His Excellency Bishop Henry D'Souza, CBC Ecclesial Advisor to ICPA, Mr. Ignatius Gonsalves, the President of ICPA and the President of this occasion, the award winners, Mr. Jos Kavi, Sister Robin C. Helen, and Mr. Joseph Gatia, the ICPA members, and my dear fathers, sisters, students, friends, and benefactors. We arrived at this great finale of this ICPA convention and award-giving ceremony. And this event is taking place in this hall. Is named after Verghese Alangadan, a very prophetic voice who lived, and his voice, though he died on 26th of March, but his voice continues to reverberate in the hearts of thousands and thousands of young students and teachers and principals and a lot of religious and bishops. And for this great event, I extend a warm and sincere welcome to each and every one of you to this National Annual Convention and Diamond Jubilee of the ICPA. Your presence brings immense joy, abundant blessings, and great success to this event. Thank you very much for gracing us with your presence on this special occasion. It is truly exceptional and personal manner. We would like to, in a truly exceptional and personal manner, we like to extend our warmest welcome to our Honorable Justice Sunil Thomas, the esteemed sitting judge of the High Court of Kerala and the Union Territory of Lakshadweep. He is appointed as judicial member. Thank you. He was appointed as a judicial member in CAT, that is Central Administrative Tribunal, by former President Pranab Mukherjee on 16th August 2022. It is an extraordinary privilege to have you, sir, with us today. Thank you, sir, for honoring our invitation at the last minute in the place of his colleague, Justice Bechu Kurian Thomas, and magnanimously gracing this occasion as our chief guest. We offer you a sincere and cordial welcome. We extend a warm welcome to His Excellency, Bishop Henry D'Souza, Bishop of Bellary, and the National Advisor to ICPA, representing the Indian Catholic Bishops' Conference. His presence has been always felt even before our meetings commenced. Bishop D'Souza has always been a vibrant and creative media personnel from his student days to his priesthood and now as a bishop. It is always a great joy and inspiration to have you with us as our guest of honor at this award ceremony. We offer you a cordial welcome, Bishop. We are also extremely happy to have the President of ICPA, Mr. Ignatius Gonsalves, the presiding officer of this event. Your inspiring presence always beckons us and motivates us to do great things in the field of journalism. Warm welcome. Then we have on the dais the real stars of this occasion and they are the award winners. Miss Sister Robin C. Helen, Mr. Joseph Gatia, and Mr. Jose Kavi. The Trimurti hailing from Delhi, Sister Robin C. Helen has been honored with the ICPA CBCI SC Award for her unwavering commitment to journalism without fear or favor to the cause of the Dalits. Then we have Mr. Joseph Gatia, is a recipient of the Swami Dayanand Chakungal Award for his outstanding contributions in the Hindi literature. Congratulations and welcome. Finally, we have the distinguished journalist, Mr. Jose Kavi. He is a recipient of this year's Luis Carreno Award for his excellent contribution to journalism, especially through his brainchild Matters India. He is accompanied by his wonderful wife, his beautiful daughter Archana, the famous Malayalam film star actress. Hearty congratulations all the three of them, and a warm and special welcome to each one of them. We are deeply inspired and encouraged by the presence of numerous graduates and postgraduates, students also who are here, who are aspiring to become journalists, doing their studies now, and we offer you a joyful welcome and wish you the very best in your future mission. We welcome
Mary Matilda, the former principal of Maharaja College.
Okay. We have also the pleasure of having Mrs. Mary Matilda, the former principal of Maharaja's College. We welcome you, madam, to this occasion.
KCBC spokesperson for the Palakyapalam.
And we have also the KCBC spokesperson, Father Palakyaparambil, and we also extend you a very cordial welcome, Father. Finally, we also welcome all ICPA members who have come from various parts of the beautiful country. This gathering is also enriched by the kind presence of Reverend Fathers, sisters, benefactors, supporters, well-wishers and friends. Your gracious presence has made this event a resounding success. May God bless you all, and we wish you a very inspiring and motivating moments ahead. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Father Vincent, for that beautiful words of welcome. Next, we move into the presidential address. I call upon with great privilege and pride the President of the Indian Catholic Press Association, Mr. Ignatius Gonsalves, for the presidential address. Over to you.
Honorable Justice Sri Sunil Thomas, Bishop Henry D'Souza, Professor Mary Matilda, the award winners, dignitaries and others, members, delegates, students who are gracing this occasion. And finally, we have come to the port where the most important business is happening. That is the award ceremony. Yesterday, while welcoming the delegates, I said, you are entering hallowed ground. And I tried to bring in a little bit of history in the background of journalism and why we decided to name the entire Ashirbavan complex. Why did we name the entire complex after John Barrett? And the two gates, Valamattam Gate and Veliparambil Gate. And we had two wonderful sessions in the Synod Hall, which we rechristened as Vaipisheri Hall. We were trying to catch up with history as we complete a milestone of 60 years. So I said this is memory time. To remember, little bit of science, all of us have heard about the Neanderthal man. That means a person who looks like a human being. So for so many years there was a debate whether he's still an animal or an ape or a man. And finally, geologists and the anthropologists and other scientists belonging to various disciplines concluded that it is a human being. Why? They reasoned out by saying that the Neanderthals, who lived 3 lakh years ago and got extinct 50,000 years ago, they buried their dead, number one. And secondly, burying dead involves commemorating, remembering, thanking, commemorating. And not only that, in the caves, they left pictures of their lives, immortalizing or telling the future world that we were here at one time. So now we have ICPA, we have 5,000 plus publications, big and small, worthless and best, any variety we have. But it all began from the sweat and blood of some missionaries. So in the year 1876, the first Catholic publication, Satyanada Kahalam, was born here. And Louis Vaipisheri was the first editor. Such a far-sighted man. And, the old back files of Satyanada Kahalam, which are in some universities, we don't have it. The church never has it, thanks to the sense of history that we have. We have a volume in Appantamburan Museum in Trichur. When I was assistant director of MASCOM, I used to take all my students like a pilgrimage to Appantamburan Museum, and I wouldn't tell, I know where that volume is. I just tell them, go there and see what it is, what all things are there. And they will come and tell me, oh sir, we found the big volume of Satyanada Kahalam. See the professionalism there. What a great genius those people, he was. Because it just turns into two sections, like local news and national news, international news. Likewise, 2 centuries ago, Tannattu Vishesham, Puranattu Vishesham, like that it goes on. So we left our stamp like the Neanderthal, how in terms of truth and in terms of professionalism. It is good that we reflect now whether we still cherish these two things. Yes, so we are remembering great people. We are remembering Vallamatam. I first saw him in way back in 1986 when we had the USIP Congress in Delhi. That was the first time I met Jose Kavi also. Ever since we are brothers and friends. And at that time I noted, this fellow is special. This priest is special. I had noted. And you just type out his name even because he died before this digital age and all that. Still, you write, you seek information on minority rights or freedom of speech or anything. A bulk of material will come on Vallamatam. And interestingly, I wanted to get a nice picture of this person. You wouldn't believe. It was so difficult. First of all, no, some people were thinking, why should you have it? Does he worth, is he such a big man? So also, look at the John Barrett, our founder, the founder of ICPA. We don't have a decent picture. The one some 5 years ago, I happened to see somewhere. Now, thanks to photoshopping and testimonies given by many people, how he looked like, we have somehow created that great person. Yes. So we have Vallamatam, we have, because students of, the ICPA functions, the common denominator was the 50-odd the delegates. But the other component, they change. Yesterday's people are not here. You look around. Today it is students. So they have not heard about Vallamatam. They have not heard about Veliparambil. So I think I am duty bound. That's why I am repeating those things. It's not that I do not know that one should not repeat things and make people bored. But they are there. Yes. And yes. You have this Father George Veliparambil, the legendary managing editor of the now defunct Kerala Times. And yesterday I told them, the students, to you I am saying, if you are studying in the Media Academy, Kakanad, you go to the library and there are so many pictures, photographs you will come across. And there is one in a corner. Just go there, you will find a picture of Louis Vaipisheri. But I have never found a picture of Louis Vaipisheri in a parochial house or something connected to a church. So yes, coming to George Veliparambil, yes. These two were, in Malayalam we say Boban and Molly. So thick a friendship. So Vallamatam was president of ICPA and George Veliparambil was a secretary twice. And finally he became the president. Yes. And during the emergency days in Kerala, only two newspapers dared to say no. One was Deshabhimani. They left their editorial column blank. And the second one was Kerala Times. Now, as I said yesterday, students, you should hear this, you should explore on that. For a party paper, for a leftist paper, when the party supremo says, you do this, they do it. That's all. So there is no agony involved. But for a church paper, and that too a Catholic paper, to say no to this emergency, yes, it requires, as Rajagopal was saying this morning, real, genuine courage. Real, genuine courage. And that tradition went on. I don't know, I have not verified it. I have tried to verify, but then some people just laughed it, meaning it yes or no. For example, when George Fernandez was living incognito, escape, for fear of police arresting him, he was hiding in Kerala times, and he even served the mass of the Archbishop of Verapoly. And it was George Veliparambil who arranged all these things. All of you, especially the seniors, know George Fernandez, devout Catholic he was, and he is an ex-seminary. He was an ex-seminarian. So probably both of them have studied together. I do not know. So lot of past which should surcharge us towards witnessing the truth is somehow we have just thrown under the carpet. Maybe their memories, we are too frightened that their memories might challenge us to very daring acts, probably. But time has come. The time has come to rediscover, not just discover, but rediscover these all-time greats and document it at one church, not as this stupid, fragmented kind of thing. Document all these things. Yes, that's why I said we are in a place which carries that great legacy. So I feel it was providential when the EC was discussing where should we have our Diamond Jubilee events. Somehow suggestions came more towards Kochi. Now I think it was providential. Nothing happens accidentally. Yes, he wants, the Supreme Communicator wants that we rediscover it. We can rediscover certain things when you are in your Tarawad, isn't it? When you get your roots, a place where your roots are. So likewise, Catholic journalism's root is very much rooted in these areas. And they were great, daring people, daring to the extent that they could have risen in ecclesiastical status if they had been played little more diplomacy. So they knew it was sacrifice. It is sacrifice. That is why we are remembering all these people. That is why so if we are a human to the extent, the capacity in which we can remember. That is why Neanderthal is man. They remembered. The fault with the church in India, particularly Kerala, I must say, it is this lack of remembrance. We have 7, 30, 41, 6 masan remembrance is there. I don't mean that. There is a much more deeper way of remembering things. Remembering what? Remembering what the Lord has done through us in the past 2000 years. That is remembrance. Okay. So what better? So we are in the right context, in the right soil, and where we are honoring 3 role model journalists who try to innovate and who try to answer. They know, like Arnold Toynbee's book, Challenge and Response. That is it. Challenge and response is life. So they have seen, or the Holy Spirit, let me be a Christian. Yes, the Holy Spirit told them, challenged them, and they responded positively. So we have these 3 icons now. And I was telling some of the students, please find some time to interact with these people. They had other options. They could have gone and taught in a school or a college or somewhere. No tension, no worries, no fear. No fear. But a journalist's life is not that. Yes, so we are happy that 3 role models are being honored today. I am particularly happy. One of them happens to be, as I said, my brother since 1986. So very happy for you. This is a small recognition. I have seen, or you have experienced also in the past 5 or 6 years, ICPA statements, people look for it. People give value. People who matter value ICPA statements. Now ICPA awards also. The cash amount and all is very, very limited, little. But then the value of it, and people give a different meaning and value to the ICPA awards. The other day, I forgot the name of that news agency, a news agency based in Germany, asked me, contacted me for two reasons. One, to know how many people died because of Nipah and whether it is safe to come to India. And the second one was about one of the ICPA awardees. We have not done any publicity. We don't do. But the local press, maybe in Kerala, some of us are where so much immersed in journalism, probably they have given very good coverage that is there. But on our own, we have not done any big thing on account of that. So my congratulations to Jose Kavi, my congratulations to and salutations to Joseph Gatia, because you are tutored by a great man, a great visionary. That is a big thing. Like yesterday, the girl saying that I am her guru and all that, so you are great guru. And also Sister Robansi, please share your life experience with the younger generation so that let the light continue to show light for the future to come in, Future is not future, future is today. That's another thing. So once again, congratulating all of you. So happy to have all of you in Kochi, my home city. I hope you have enjoyed in the sense you are surcharged spiritually, and you are otherwise also. Hopefully you will always remember the Kochi events. Let me desire for that, because some of us were working very, very hard to make your stay here, your time here, very, very blessed and very rewarding. And thank God, I think to a certain extent that has been achieved. So thank you very much. My good wishes to all of you. And tomorrow the Kochi Darshan also, for all those who are joining it, I promise that it is going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, respected President, for that well-crafted, information-filled and words that is definitely food for thought for all of us. Esteemed guests on and off the dais, Reverend Fathers, Reverend Sisters, ladies and gentlemen, now we officially move into the award function, for which may I request the award winners to also join us on stage. May I request Sister Robansi Helen, Mr. Joseph Gatia and Mr. Jose Kavi to also join us on stage. Sister Robansi Helen, who is the winner of the ICPA CBCI SC Award, and Mr. Joseph Gatia and Mr. Jose Kavi to also be on stage. Thank you. Now let me request Honorable Justice Sunil Thomas of the High Court of Kerala, the chief guest of this award function, to deliver his inaugural address. Over to you, sir.
Respected President of the ICPA, Mr. Ignatius Gonsalves, Most Excellency Bishop Henry, distinguished guests on the dais and off the dais, priest, ladies and gentlemen. I'm extremely happy to be with you on the occasion of the Diamond Jubilee celebration of the ICPA. I note that ICPA has been in existence for the last 60 years, and it is stated to be one of the most vibrant associations of the journalists in the Asia. I also take note of the presence of the award winners who have achieved this recognition after a long time, periods of their toiling and tilling. So congratulations, I congratulate the associate, the president and the office bearers of the association for all the activities which they have done, and I wish them all the best wishes in the future also. I also wish the very best to the award winners. I should also reveal by now that I should have been a journalist because in fact after completing my degree course, I applied for a journalism course organized by the Bharati Vidyabhavan. I joined there, studied there for 3 months. By that time I got admission in the law college, so my destiny changed. Otherwise I would have been one among the students like you and doing a journalism as my vocation and profession. In the case of journalists, we always speak about the freedom of press, the independence of press, and also the integrity of the press. We know that the press has been taking a very active role in the independence struggle. Thereafter also they continued to remain in the limelight and have contributed to the democratic setup of the country. The press have revealed a lot of innumerable number of instances of corruption at the higher level. They have also brought out instances of nepotism in democracy, in the case of administration, human trafficking. They have taken up the issues regarding environmentalism, conservation of nature, as well as a lot of social issues. So definitely, the freedom of press is the most important and sacrosanct function which has been recognized by the judiciary also. Because unless the freedom of press is protected, they are given the freedom and they are insulated against duress from outside world. They will not be able to report independently and expose the bad effects in administration. You should understand that the judiciary has also been taking the very extreme step of protecting the freedom of press. When for the first time this question came up before the Supreme Court in Indian Express case in 1986, though that was a tax matter, the Supreme Court went to the extent of discussing the freedom of press, and in 4-5 paragraphs left relating to the freedom of press, said that that is the most essential part of democratic setup of governance. And Supreme Court also said that we are going to protect the independence of free press and we will protect it as sacrosanct as that of the independence of judiciary. Thereafter, this question came up before the Supreme Court once again later as to whether the freedom of press, does it come under the fundamental rights of Part 3 of the Constitution of India. That was a case which was initiated by Bennett, Coleman and Company in 1976, before emergency. Supreme Court said that Article 19(1) of the Constitution of India, which deals with the fundamental right to speak, that it says that every person has a fundamental right to speak which he wants, of course subject to reasonable restrictions to be imposed by the government. So Supreme Court said the right to speech takes in the ingredient of freedom of press also. So for the first time the Supreme Court confirmed that freedom of press is sacrosanct and it forms a fundamental right of the parties. And this has been protected by the courts in India. You will find that whenever there has been instances of misuse of journalists or interference in the independence of the press, Supreme Court as well as the High Courts have taken proactive role in protecting such instances. That's the judicial aspect of it. So it is, we can definitely say that freedom of independence of press is as sacrosanct as that of independence of judiciary. and is essential for a proper administration and proper governance. But the question arises, have we been able to maintain that credibility of independence? Definitely, I can say that the Indian press or the journalists in India have been considered as elite group. They are honest, maintain integrity, and have remained as far as possible. I am saying about the majority that to be away from corruption. That seems to be so even now. But I heard a news. I could read that as per the World Press Index, which was conducted recently, the credibility of the press in India has undergone a decline during the last few years. What is the cause? Definitely, it is a matter of concern. It's a matter of introspection as far as the journalists are concerned. Probably in that context, I will definitely say the topic that was selected by ICPA for discussion, which you had in the morning, that duress of journalism, mission to speak truth to power, was the most appropriate and crucial as far as journalism is concerned. I hope that you all had a very, very effective session in the morning. Definitely, journalists are bound to speak truth to the power. That does not mean that power alone, or it is always the government that misuses the freedom of press, or that power means the government only, but there are several other forces which stand in the way of independent press. So the obligation is always on the journalist to ensure that not only that you speak the truth, but you speak the entire truth. I can tell you one example which I always wanted to share. That was a case wherein whenever the matters relating to huge infrastructure projects are launched by the government, I'm not saying whether it is by the central government or by the state government, whatever it may be, issues are being raised on the question of the environmental issues. Huge infrastructure projects are being stalled on the ground of environmental issues, displacement of tribals, that it will affect the nature of, etc. Of course, these are the issues which are matters of concern, no doubt about that. But even the Supreme Court has taken the stand that regarding the question of development versus nature, development versus environment, we should always go by the principle of sustainable development. Question is whether we can sustain the nature, we can sustain the environment and go for development. But always I have found that this question of sustainable development has always taken a back seat. And in very, very rare cases, this aspect has been projected so that public are not carried away by the environmental issues or by the impact of on the tribals or on the forest. I am not definitely saying that these are not relevant issues. These are relevant issues. But you should always go for a balanced approach towards it. Whenever government policies are being adopted, or whenever the opposition brings out a policy for good governance in future, whenever new statutes are being introduced in the parliament, either by the government or as a private bill by the opposition, definitely there will be opposition from the other side, or in other words, without going into the correctness and interest of the public, issues are being raised. I feel that these are instances where the young journalists have got a duty to ensure that truth, the whole truth and nothing but truth, is brought to the public, so that public can take up an informed decision on the subject. It's for them to decide. It's for the public to have an informed decision. Only if you feed them the entire truth, entire facts, then only they will be able to take up a proper decision on these aspects. Now, you know that the question of duress on journalism has various manifestations. The most atrocious thing can be a case wherein a journalist is attacked physically, emotionally, or even threatened, directly or indirectly. I read in newspaper, I do not know how far the truth is, it is true. In 2022, 66 journalists were attacked in India. We have definite instances. That's one method of it. Second method of duress which we now find is that journalists or press are getting involved, are being implicated in legal causes. Say, for example, if a matter which is not to the tune of the government or the opposition or somebody in other authority, somebody who's got power, the journalist is immediately implicated in several defamation cases instituted at different places in the country, so that he is throttled and finished. We have instances of National Security Act being initiated against case. I'm not saying these should not be invoked in appropriate cases. Government or whoever it may be, the power has the police has the power to initiate appropriate proceedings. But if it is not the genuine one, if persons or in the case of press, journalists are implicated in false cases of UAPA, National Security Act, Official Secrets Act, these are things of matters of concern which we should be very, very, very careful about. So only by a concerted action we will be able to meet all these contingencies. We have cases wherein journalists have been implicated in POCSO case for reporting a matter relating to a victim. POCSO case being implicated against. Whether true or not, whether facts justify it, these are instances. I'm only cautioning you, but doesn't get distracted by that, especially for the young aspiring journalist. I wish all of you a very good luck, and I also wish the association all the very best in future. And I also know that Sister Robinson, Mr. Joseph Gathia, and Mr. Joseph Kavi, all of them have been able to get rid of this or get themselves insulated all these atrocious acts and have fought for the right cause in the right manner. Congratulations to all the 3 award winners. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I formally declare today's function as open. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Justice Sunil Thomas, for those very insightful words that is definitely a wake-up call for all the journalists here. Next, we have the benedictory address of our dear loving Bishop. May I call upon His Excellency Bishop Dr. Henry D'Souza, Bishop of Bellary, CBCI's Ecclesiastical Advisor to the ICPA. Over to you, Bishop.
Dear Justice Sunil Thomas, our President Ignatius Gonsalves, dear award winners, journalists, communicators, and students. It is said, you heard it said, there are people who are doers. There are people who are only watchers. There are people who only wonder what happened. People, as I have seen, normally people do good things to others. They are good people normally, but many of them do good to themselves. There are some others do good to themselves and to their own. And there is a third category, they do good to themselves, to others, maybe also to the family. But the third is the best, doing something for others, contributing something for the betterment of the society and for the common good. In Kannada, there is a saying, ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಟ್ಟುತ್ತೇವೆ, ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಹುಟ್ಟುತ್ತೇವೆ ಅದು ಮುಖ್ಯವಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಟ್ಟುತ್ತೇವೆ ಅದು ಮುಖ್ಯ. Where we are born, to whom we are born is not so important, but what we become is more important. And our becoming becomes more meaningful when we become relevant to others, when we become achievers for others, when we empower and enable others. Life becomes ever more meaningful. That's why Paul, in writing to Timothy, 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7 and 8, he says, in my life I have fought a good fight. I have run my race. I have kept my faith. Now I am awaiting for the reward that is promised to me, not only to me, but to all. What wonderful words. For each of us, we must be able to say to all at the various stages of our life, whether I have fought a good fight, whether I have run my race, whether I have kept my faith and my commitment, and ultimately await for the reward. The psalmist in the first psalm very beautifully portrays our life. And he says, the psalmist says, in the first psalm, Psalm 1, verses 1 to 3, those who go the right way, those who do not keep the company of the evil, those who do not walk the evil way and do not do evil deeds, but always listen to the word and treasure it in their heart, are like trees planted on the banks of a flowing river, on the banks of a flowing river, and they will bear fruits and flowers seasonally, abundantly. Three of our achievers whom we are going to reward today belong to this category. They have stood the test of time. They have been courageous and they have been achievers. We are indeed proud of them. The good Lord who has done good work through them, edify each one of us to do similarly in our own field. Going the right way, doing the right thing. I only seek God's abundant blessings on them and on each one of us. And above all, on this association, ICPA, may it be a large umbrella. As I said earlier, yesterday in their executive committee meeting, it's from the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 2. And it is an important document, important quote in the synodal document. What it says is, enlarge your tent. Enlarge your tent. Bring in more people into it for the experience of God. What is required for ICPA is to bring in younger generation, younger talents, and groom them and mentor them. Then elongate your ropes and strengthen your pegs. Very important. I mean the peg is of the tent, not the evening peg. Let's remember there is a need for enlargement of the association, recognizing more and more talent among us and in the society. Not always necessarily be they Catholic, but Catholic in values and commitment. May the good Lord who has started the good work in the three of them inspire each one of us to do our best and to become our best, as Mother Teresa said in her own life. By birth, I am an Albanian. By my nationality, I am an Indian. By my commitment, I belong to Christ. But my service, I belong to the entire world. By service to to the entire world. May the achievements of these three persons be an inspiration for each one of us. May what our president said and also what Justice Sunil Thomas said be an inspiration for us to do better, to make our good better and our better the best. God bless each one of us and God bless ICPA.
Thank you, Bishop Henry D'Souza, for your guidance and for those kind words and blessings. And now the moment has arrived. We begin the award ceremony. We shall do it as follows. First, the winner's name is called. Then the citation will be read. And after which the award will be presented by our chief guest, Justice Sunil Thomas. The citation will be presented by the president, and our Bishop Henry will adorn the winner with a shawl. And the award winner will be requested to make a brief acceptance speech. Let us now call the first winner, the winner of the ICPA CBCI SC Award for the best reportage of Dalit issues, Sister Robansi Helen. And to read out her citation, may I request Sister Ganga Rawat to kindly come on stage.
Sister will get the specs.
The Indian Catholic Press Association is pleased to confer ICPA Award for the best reporting on scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, sponsored by the CBCI, offered for scheduled caste and backward classes on Robin C. S. A. Helen. Sister Robin C. A. Helen is a Catholic religious nun belonging to the Messenger of Mary of Immaculate, has been regularly contributing to various magazines and news portals on Dalit issues. She has paneled more than 150 articles on various issues in 5 years. To the power of reporting and analyzing articles, Sister Robin C. amplifies various aspects of Dalits who have been sidelined by the elites, powerful and social structures. She critically analyzes the deeper aspects of Dalits and tribals, exploitation and subjugation. She has excessively written about the injustice they face on many fronts. She has also written many success stories on the Dalit Christians, which has great impact in her life itself. Her sincerity and perseverance in highlighting the rights of scheduled caste, scheduled tribes show courage and conviction. Her writings showcase hopes and resilience that the deprived people of communities shown despite many challenges, deprivation, and exploitation. The SCABC Specially Award was instituted by the ICPA and sponsored by CBCI Office for Scheduled Caste and Backward Classes to promote the welfare of the marginalized peoples. Conferred on Saturday, today, 23rd September 2003, during the 28th National Convention of Christian Journalists organized by the ICPA held on Ashir Bhavan, Kochi, Kerala.
Thank you, Sister Ganga. I request our chief guest to first present the award, our president to present the citation, award. And our bishop to adorn with a shawl. Sister Robin, Steve, kindly stay back. Once again, a bigger round of applause. Thank you, sister. And we very well know that she truly deserves it for doing it for the Dalit issues. Next, may I request the winner of Swami Devanand Chakungal Award for the best. I request sister for an acceptance speech. Over to you, sister.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am honored today to receive this award for the best reporting of Dalit issues. I thank the ICPA and all those who worked behind the success of this event to honor the Catholic journalists. Foremost, I thank the Almighty God who brought me here to honor me. This is not the honor that I receive for myself, but all the 19 million Dalit Catholics who are in this country. When I started the work, I knew nothing about the harsh reality of the caste discrimination in the church and in the society. I was not exposed to the condition of the Dalits, though Dalits are living in my own village. When I listened to the plight of the Dalits, when I was working in the CBC office for SCBC from 2014 to 2019, I could not tolerate the inequality and suffering of the Dalit Christians. The incident that touched me most was a story of Dalit Christian women in Sirutondama Devi. Sirutondama Devi is a missionary parish in Alagappa Samutram in the Archdiocese of Pondicherry, Kadalur. Dalit Catholics are very few in that village. The Hindu caste that is dominant has taken advantage of them. They exploited the Dalit women and girls, and no one would come to rescue them. So, the Dalit Christian parents used to send their girls to work outside the village till they got married. Also, the dominant caste men come to Dalit houses in the evening and send their men for some work and exploit their wives. Later, when the Dalit Christians resisted the situation with the help of VCK, the local political party, their houses were destroyed and the Dalit Christians were attacked. When I listened to this story, it was heartbreaking for me and a life-changing moment. Then and there, I decided to do something for these people. I started to record the stories of the Dalit Christian women, and I felt it is my call and commitment to stand up for the Dalit Christians, especially the Dalit Christian women and children. I strongly believe in the gospel values that all should be loved and treated equally. I never felt worried or afraid to report about the marginalized and oppressed sections of the society. Writing is not confined only to skill. It is also about the passion with which we write about people and events. There are many things to write about, but writing about the marginalized is challenging and at the same time satisfying. I am content that we are contributing to the change in the society, and it is good for the society as well as for the marginalized. Finally, I thank the ICPA President, Mr. Ignatius Gonsalves, Father Suresh Matthew, the Treasurer, Father Suresh Matthew, the Secretary, Father Joe, the Treasurer, and all the distinguished guests here who are awarding the writers who are writing about the marginalized and encouraging many other writers to write about the marginalized. I congratulate and thank the ICPA for organizing and awarding this event and making this convention a success. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sister. May God bless you and be rest assured of all our prayers. Thank you, sister. Next, I move on to request Mr. Joseph Gatia to kindly take your seat, the winner of Swami Devanand Chakungal Award. And to read out the citation, may I request Father Suresh Matthew, the editor of Indian Currents.
So the tradition of my land is that we don't sit in the front seats of any elder, particularly when so distinguished people are there. So as per my tradition, I'll sit down.
Swami Devanand Chakungal Award 2023. The Indian Catholic Press Association is pleased to confer its Best Hindi Writer Institution Award known as Swami Devanand Chakungal Award, sponsored by the Eswiri Province, Indo, on Joseph Anthony Gatia. His articles have been published in major Hindi newspapers: Jansata, owned by Indian Express Group, Now Bharat Times, the Times of India Group, Dainik Bhaskar, Dainik Hindustan, the Hindustan Times Group, Rajasthan Patrika, Rashtriya Sahara, Sahara Samay, Aaj Samaj, Kuber Times, and many other newspapers. Joseph Gatia was a bureau chief of India's first Hindi weekly newspaper, Chauthi Duniya, a secular publication. Also, Gatia has the rare honor of being invited to write for the famous Hindi magazine, Hands, edited by renowned Hindi novelist, late Rupendra Yadav, and founded by Prem Chand, the legendary Hindi literary figure. Gatia began his journalistic journey by joining Francis de Sales School of Journalism in New Delhi, run by Father John Barrett. After successfully completing the course, Father Barrett asked him to work for a Catholic weekly, Sanjeevan. He began his career as a reporter in 1971 and worked his way up and became editor of the weekly. Gatia, through his writings and campaign in association with the civil liberty groups headed by Justice Tarkunde, Justice Rajendra Sachar, and noted journalist Kuldeep Nayyar, influenced the policies of the then government on issues of child labor and compulsory primary education for all children. Conferred on Saturday, 23rd September 2023 during the 28th National Convention of Christian Journalists organized by the ICPA held at the Ashir Bhavan, Kochi, Kerala.
Thank you, Father Suresh. Now I request our Chief Guest, Honorable Justice Sunil Thomas, to fest a round of applause. Our President also to join in and handing over the awards. And a Bishop to adorn with a shawl. A bigger round of applause, please. And if you didn't hear, he was saying a mantle of the Holy Spirit as he's being adorned with the shawl. A usable shawl. Thank you. Requesting Mr. Joseph Gatia for an acceptance speech.
Honorable Justice of Kerala High Court, Madam Professor, His Excellency Bishop Henry D'Souza, whom we know from his CBCI days and has done a lot of work with him, Sister Robina, and my old friend Joseph Kavi, fathers, sisters, elders present over here, and young students. I really feel thrilled and honored that in this land of God I have been honored with this prestigious award. It has double pleasure for me because I have some connection with Kerala. Before that I'll start how I got interested in journalism. I began my career as a teacher. And it so happened, I used to write some poems and write from childhood. And my mother used to say, "Isse kaun shadi karega?" You know, that who will marry, which girl will marry this boy? Because he is a poet. And poets don't get any money. So that how, but I kept on writing and doing this thing. So when I was teacher in a school, and that also a story, there was a mission school run by SVDs about 120 kilometers away in a deep forest where one has to walk 20 kilometers to reach the school from the last bus point. And it was up to middle school. Somehow they obtained a permission to start high school. But one of the condition was that your teacher should be B.Ed. And I had just finished my B.Ed. And the Holy Spirit sisters who were knowing my family, they came to ask that, can your son go to work in that school? My father said, what you are talking about? In that God-forsaken place, nobody is going to go. I'm not going to send my son. Because at the same time, I had passed railway examination and appointment letter was there. I had also same time passed Indian Information Services and I was appointed as an information officer in Gwalior. But my mother, she opened the Bible as she used to read, and I really feel inspired by the Old Testament. And she always used to read Old Testament, and she used to say that New Testament is known to everybody. We always hear about it. But the good things in Old Testaments are not known to the people. So you see, and she used to read from Isaiah, the verses, stand with the oppressed, fight against injustice, and be kind to widows. So this was in my, so she opened that and says, hey, look, you have to go and work there. So I committed for 1 year. When I was there, it so happened that one of the poor girl was molested by son of a very rich man in that area. So, since I had some connection with the newspaper locally, we went to city and complained about this. Police will not write any FIR. We went to the newspaper, they'll say, oh, that big man, no, he gives us advertisement. We will not write anything against him. So what we did, in those days, there was no photocopy. We used to write carbon, no? Write down with the carbon. So I wrote a small 2 paragraphs and we copied through that way, with the help of some other children, my classmates. And we distributed in the city. Now that distribution, after 3 days, there was uproar in the city. So my idea was to create community consciousness, a common community consciousness through the writing. And that has been my motto since then. Unless we can present truth, we can present facts, but if that fact should lead to creating a common consensus or a common consciousness in the community so that they can take common action. Because without common action, we cannot win the wars. So that's how I left that job. I said, if I cannot do anything for the poor people, I would like to go directly in journalism. So without anything, at the annoyance of my father did not give me a single paisa. I landed in Delhi, not knowing anybody. So, but my uncle used to know brother of Frank Moraes, the editor, because he was his brother was in Bombay and my uncle was a trade unionist. So he gave me a letter. So I thought, I have got a letter from Frank Moraes, I'll get his job easily. I went to his office, sent that letter to him, and was sitting, 3-4 hours I was sitting. No call for him. Then I asked the peon, have you given the letter to him? हाँ साहब दे दिया पर वो बुला नहीं रहे आपको. He is not calling you. Then I scratched my head. After 4-5 hours, I never used to drink tea at that time. I went down, the office was the first floor, I went down on the street. I drank 2 cups of tea. First time in my life. Then I went back. Then I asked the peon, give me a small piece of paper. Then I wrote, a job seeker. I did not write my name. I just write, a job seeker. Send a slip to him. Within 1 minute, Frank Moraes called me. Within 1 minute. He said, you wrote this? I said, yes. Sit down here. Then he was correcting his editorial. And he gave me his rough sheet of the editorial and said, give me a heading of this. I said, my goodness, I was shivering because Frank Moraes and to give a heading to his editorial. So I scratched my head, I just reflected. I said, Holy Spirit, please help me. Then I wrote 1 line. After seeing this, he said, oh, I wrote a fly in the ointment. That was the title. And the next day that heading appeared on his editorial. And that was his last editorial. If you read those of Indian Express, I never knew that for tonight he will be sacked and will not be in job. But he told me to go and meet Cyril Flory in the Statesman. Cyril Flory was a sports editor of Statesman. Then he told me that Father John Barrett is going to start a school of journalism, so why don't you meet him? That's how I came into contact with John Barrett. And then since then, the story is well known. But one of my other story I want to share with you, that you have to be sometimes, particularly when you are working for a secular paper, you have to be little innovative. One of my story was a well stolen, water well stolen, kinnar, where you store in the field you have water. Water well stolen and recovered. Now this one in Hindi, कुआं चोरी चला गया, चोर पकड़ा गया. Now everybody said, how can a well be stolen? And really, can you imagine, a well from the field has been stolen and thief has been caught. It so happened that far away in a remote Ambikapur area, one person complained that his well has been stolen. Nobody wrote any report. Somehow I came to know about it, In those days, telephone was very rare because you have to make a long distance call to first to telephone exchange, and then they will connect you. So somehow, I decided to go in that area, all the where over there, and then I inquired about, met that farmer. He told me, "Sir, mera kuan chori chala, my well has been stolen." How? So he showed me the paper. Bank loan sanctioned for well, 80,000 rupees. 5 feet well dug, sanctioned 10,000 rupees. 20 feet well dug, sanctioned 50,000 rupees. 80 feet well dug, 80,000 rupees sanctioned. This was all manipulated by the cooperative bank people. But no well was dug. So he said that, "Sir, my well is stolen." Because in the paper the well is there. So I did that story with the result that there was uproar in the Madhya Pradesh assembly, that BDO etc. were sacked, the cooperative management was sacked, and that fellow has not to return the loan because they were recovering loan from that fellow. So what I am saying that there is a lot of challenges in this, but I want to conclude with saying that now those chapters are over. We are now in new era. The challenges are different. And I used to talk to Father Barrett, and he also at the time visualized that the real challenge for human rights as well as for religious freedom is going to come from the cow belt of North India. And now we know that most of these challenges to our human rights, freedom of expression, etc., are coming from that belt. And unless we tackle that area through our whatever means we may devise, we are not going to see very big change. So my humble request is to ICPA is to strengthen yourself in that belt, also increase your activities in that belt, and also promote these kind of meetings, etc., in those areas. I feel that the real challenge before the young people would be how do they really find a job and sustain it. I'll just give a small example and I'll conclude. Since I believe that the job of the journalist is to create social consciousness, once I was working with a weekly paper owned by a private proprietor. There was a family function in their birthday function in their family. So the proprietor sent to the new message with a photograph, "Put this in the front page." I said, "Sir, this is not the news. I can put inside the page, but not outside, in the front page. This is not work front page. Readers would not like it." Anyhow, he said, no, put it. I didn't put it. Our weekly was out on Friday. By Monday evening, I was fired. Proprietor said, "In my newspaper, I own this newspaper, and my family photograph is not on the front page. You are used as editor, you go away." So that evening I came home, was depressed, and then my wife asked, "What happened?" Then I said, "Oh, we have lost the job." Then I was very worried. So and here is the real crux of my narration, that there is something special in this land of Kerala, the God's own land. My wife, who is a Malayali, she said, "Look to the birds of the sky. They don't sow, they don't harvest, they don't store in the barn, but yet Father Almighty takes care of them." So with that encouragement, I continued in the journalism, and I would like to say that inner confidence is very important for any journalist, because this is going to be major challenge for you. Once again, I thank ICPA, I thank Father Suresh, who is really instrumental to bringing me in ICPA, and I thank President Mr. Gonsalves and to our Bishop Henry, because he has always been blessing me and receiving me good. Thank you, Madam, present over here, and thank you, sir, for your presence. Thank you very much to all.
Thank you very much. And may God continue the good work that He's been doing in you. We move on. Yeah, it is indeed my personal honor, privilege, and joy to call upon this year's Louis Carreno Award winner, Mr. Jose Kavi. May I call upon Sister Lissy Marthankuri to read out the citation of Mr. Jose Kavi.
ICPA Father Louis Carreno Award 2023. The Indian Catholic Press Association is pleased to confer its prestigious journalism award, Father Louis Carreno Award 2023, on Jose Kavi. Mr. Jose Kavi has played a crucial role in professionalizing the church-based news agencies. In the last 4 decades, he has made a mark in both secular journalism and in reporting on the Christian world. The 3 phases of his professional life have been in the UNI, a major news agency of its time, the UCAN, a pioneering Catholic news service, and now Matters India, a news portal of great credibility which was launched 11 years ago. Matters India is seen as a window to the Christian world by secular observers. As India editor of UCAN, Union of Catholic Asian News, for about 25 years, he single-handedly built up a network of professional journalists covering the whole of India and even Nepal. Matters India was a heroic attempt on his part to redefine church media regardless of personal pains and sufferings. At a time when church media used to be dubbed as singing Hosanna to priests and hierarchy, Mr. Kavi dared to correct it without ever coming to the limelight. The news portal makes special efforts to bring to the world the atrocities committed against the Church, its institutions, Dalits, tribals, and the marginalized. But for its coverage, many such incidents and instances would have gone unknown to the people. Conferred annually on individuals or institutions, Louis Carreno Award for Excellence in Journalism is a joint venture of the Mumbai province of the Salesians of Don Bosco and the Indian Catholic Press Association, a premier organization of Catholic journalists, dailies, and periodicals in India, founded in 1963 by Father John Barrett, an American Jesuit belonging to the Patna province. Conferred on Saturday, 23rd September 2023, during the 28th National Convention of Christian Journalists, organized by the ICPA, held at the Ashir Bhavan, Kochi, Kerala.
Thank you, Sister Lissy. Requesting our dignitaries, our chief guest, our president, and our dear bishop to do the honors. A round of applause, a bigger round of applause, please. Thank you. And requesting this year's Luis Carreno Award winner, Mr. Jose Kavi, for an acceptance speech.
The moment has come, which I feared. I am glad to receive this, the only award in my 41 years of journalism from the Indian Catholic Press Association that launched me into journalism. Jesuit Father Varghese Paul, the founder director of ICPA SAR News, selected me as one of the first in-service trainees that SAR News started in 1982. So I stand here with a list of people whom I want to thank. First of all, I thank God who has led me by hand all these years. And also I thank and I'm happy that I belonged once upon a time to Patna province, to which Father John Barrett was a member. I thank Patna province of Jesuits of Society of Jesus that taught me the little English that I now use for my survival. I owe the 11 years in the society for what I am today. I thank Vincent D'Souza, the first editor of SAR News, who introduced to me editing. I watched him editing my stories, starting with an obit on Father Kamil Bulke, a Jesuit Hindi scholar. That was my first article. I thank Father M.J. Edwin, who succeeded Father Varghese Paul, who taught me to avoid flowery language and personal views in my reportings. He taught me the readability techniques that help me even today. But the person who really shaped me as a journalist was Maryknoll Father Bob Astorino of happy memory, the founder director of Union of Catholic Asian News, or UCAN. During my 22 years with him, he encouraged me to use my skills and expertise to mentor cub reporters. Today, I can say with all humility that more than 250 people, priests and sisters included, learned journalism in UCAN's annual training program. They would never forget Bob's 10 principles of journalism. Some of them are here. When I left UCAN after 25 years, some friends and my family members created a new news portal, Matters India, and asked me to manage it because they were afraid that I would idle away my time. I do not know if there is any other news agency in the world that operates with no funds. We have no money, nothing. We work on zero budget. I thank our editorial board members, lay people, priests and sisters for their goodwill, hard work and dedication to give voice to the voice without fear or favor. Last but not the least is my family, especially my wife. Rosamma, who has stood with me like a rock, especially when I had to make hard choices in my life, like leaving SAR News to join UNI as a sub-editor trainee with less pay. Then after 4 years, leaving UNI to work full-time for UCAN. When I hesitated to return to church journalism, Rosamma told me not to worry about the family and take up the job as a mission. She took care of my 2 children and scores of with us in our Delhi house while I was busy setting up the UCAN network that kept me away from home for weeks. Rosamma kept the home fires burning in spite of her own mission
of saving lives as a nurse and raising two children, Ashish and Archana, who are now professionals in their own field. Thank you, Rosama. I dedicate this award to you and to my Matters India team. One more. The reason I did not want to return to church journalism was the painful realization that even church people consider those who are working for the church media to be second-rate journalists who could not find job elsewhere. Under Father Bob of UCAN, Bob could challenge the secular media in professionalism. UCAN could challenge any secular media in professionalism, I would say. I realized this at our first training program in 1989. We selected 13 journalists with long years of experience in major newspapers from different parts of the country. Two of them are present here. But after 3 days of training under Father Bob, all of them agreed they had to unlearn and relearn a lot to become real professionals. Bob insisted that journalists should go out and dirty their hands to tell the stories that smell people. And I am sure that is not happening these days. Once again, I thank you, ICPA, for giving me my life's first and perhaps my last award.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Kavi Uncle, for that beautiful words, a true inspiration to many and definitely a man to look up to. With this, we have finished the award function. We move into the felicitation. To offer felicitation, we have with us Professor Dr. Mary Matilda, former principal of the Maharaja's College, Ernakulam. I request Matilda ma'am for the felicitation.
Honorable dignitaries on the dais of the dais, to be frank with you, I feel out of place in this eminent group of journalists. No wonder Father Anthony forgot to welcome me while I was on the dais, because I am not supposed to be in such a group. And I will reveal a secret, how I became a part of this program. Because Ignatius Gonsalves is my childhood friend, and we studied in two neighboring schools. I studied in a girls' school, Christ King Convent, and he studied at St. Rita's School. And I knew him very well from that day itself. And actually, I was jealous of him because we used to participate in speech competitions. And he used to brag about his super presentation skills. Once, the competition was about Mahatma Gandhi. So we all started, Mahatma Gandhi was born in, and he was in Porbandar, I forgot the place. And the date and everything, we started like that. But he started the speech in another way, that he told people, visited Mahatma Gandhi, and Mahatma Gandhi told them, my life is my message. I'm not sure whether it's a fabricated one or not, but he got the first prize. The thought-provoking, the words came from him. He is always different, and I feel that is the reason he became the president of ICPA, a very different group of journalists who even now stand for freedom and stand for truth. I congratulate him. And another pleasant experience is the presence of my professor, Justice Sunil Thomas. Of course, he is younger to me. When I did my LLB in the evening college, law college, he was my professor. And I felt so happy to have him here. Another pleasant experience is my friend Sheila Korea. We were together in KCSL, and I am amazed at the transformed Sheila Korea. She is a well-known writer. So I am very happy and proud to be here. And my job is to felicitate the award winners, Sister Robin C., Mr. Joseph Gathia, Mr. Jose Kavi. I congratulate ICPA selecting these journalists for awards without fear or favor. Always that is happening in favorism is happening in this award functions or selecting award winners. And they have been introduced very well. We all know their credentials, why they are given these awards. And I have to say one word regarding Mr. Joseph Katia. He sat on the floor. He reminds us about our beautiful traditions. He sat on the floor, and how many of us in his age group can sit like that? We always say that all the diseases in the present scenario, diseases are lifestyle diseases. And one big reason for that is we are not using our body at all. And when he sat down like this, I just thought of that. And when he told us he had to walk 20 kilometers to the school, again I thought he is so lucky to walk 20 kilometers to the school. Thank you, sir, for sharing such experience with us. Finally, I should say something about press. And press and judiciary, they are the two pillars of our democratic system. When deterioration happens in these two areas, that is the biggest problem we are facing. And when I stand before you, I have some hope. Here are some journalists who stand for truth, who stand for freedom. And Gitanjali, Ravindranath Tagore has written in Gitanjali, those lines always fascinate us, where the mind is free and where the head is held high. And the words come from the deepest truth. Into that kingdom of heaven, let my country awake. Into that heaven, let my country awake. We always see freedom as a heaven of freedom. Who will take us to that heaven of freedom? You are the role models for that. Speaking the truth, that is the freedom. Actually, freedom can be defined as our ability to speak the truth, even when it is not liked by others. That is the actual freedom. And journalism, where you can speak the truth without fear. But the scenario has been changing, and I hope you won't be carried away by the temptations. Now what is happening? People are fascinated by our outer world, fascinate us by power and position. Whenever people are after power and position, they are scared of speaking the truth. And when the rulers, when they are not speaking the truth, or when they are opening up the hidden agenda, it is the responsibility of journalists to bring out the truth, the hidden agendas, because this is the forum. The press is the forum where we should speak up the truth without fear or favor. No rules, no regulations as it is when we speak the truth. And you are the special people who can enjoy that to a great extent. When we speak about the present scenario, many people tell me, oh, that has been, it is not the case now. It is the post-truth world. I don't know the exact English word. They say it is Satyanandala Logam. So, we can expect such things in this world. But I can definitely say that apart from a small percentage of greedy people or who go after power and position, majority common man would always love to stand with justice and truth. 1 week ago, I was traveling in an auto rickshaw. When I got down, I asked him, what is the charge? He told me, 30 rupees. I gave him 50 rupees. Then I told him, you keep this money. Then he told me, no, 30 rupees my charge. I won't take any money more than that. That is the common man. And we have the responsibility towards the common man to bring out the truth and stand for justice and freedom, and wish you good luck, and you are the hope. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for those beautiful words and also recollecting those memories.
With the permission of the President, I take just 1 minute using the liberty of the Secretary of ICPA. We listen to Jose Kavi. The church speaks about synodality, journeying together. And he presented that exact example for journeying together. Rosamma Chichi and Jose Kavi together. I think we need to give both of them a standing ovation, ma'am, to come to the stage. With your permission, shall I invite Archana? Archana, please. Come to us. We give them a standing ovation. Thank you.
Well, we don't leave anything unfinished, so we've got one more thing to do, and that is in the afternoon session. In the morning session, we left out honoring one of our achievers, a person who had written a book, authored a book, Dr. Chakochan. If you're here, you may kindly come on stage and receive. Requesting Dr. Chakochan to kindly be on stage and our president to do the honors of. We've given all the others. Well, we need to do it for everyone. A round of applause, please. Thank you. Finally, we have come to the fag end of our program. To propose the vote of thanks, may I request Mr. Rajesh Kristen, Executive Committee Member of the ICPA Western Region, Mr. Rajesh Kristen, to propose the vote of thanks.
I know this is one of the thankless job, but without that, we can't finish any of the function. To start with and to make it short, first of all, from the bottom of our heart, we would like to thank the person who did the welcome address, the editor of Teenage, Father Vincent. A big round of applause for Father Vincent. Then the dance troupe, they led us to a spiritual atmosphere and gave the glimpse of Kerala. So thank you to the dance troupe. And now the people, very busy in their busy schedule, they have spent so much of time with us. Justice, Honorable Justice Sri Sunil Thomas, ICPS advisor and spiritual advisor, His Lordship Bishop Henry D'Souza, and Madam Dr. Mary Matilda, the principal of Maharaja College, Ernakulam. Thank you so much. A couple of words about what they have given us the advice. Okay, with that we honor them also. Honorable Justice Sunil Thomas. Sir, thank you very much for your best wishes to all of us. And in your speech, you mentioned a regret that in your childhood you wanted to become a journalist but couldn't do that. And when you are a sitting judge in the High Court or any court, you have to be very careful what you speak, whether it is in the court or any public platform. So now he has to be very careful what he speaks. But sir, we wish that after your retirement, you take up the journalism and start writing. So thank you so much, sir. Now he is writing judgment, what Lordship is saying. Yes, true. Our ever smiling advisor, spiritual advisor, Dr. Henry D'Souza, the Bishop of Bellary. You mentioned about St. Paul and you said, I have fought a good fight. And you advised us and you gave us a path that we should also fight our fight for the poor and the people of India by bringing out the truth. We promise, Lordship, that ICPA journalists will continue following your advice. Thank you so much. Dr. Mary Matilda, Madam, thank you very much for accepting our invitation. And for your inspiring words by given the day-to-day events happens in our life, what she has just mentioned about the Auto Fellow. There is honesty among the common people, and that we as journalists should bring out to the outer world. Thank you so much, ma'am. A big thank you to our President, Mr. Ignatius Gonsalves, the President of ICPA. You said to catch up with history, and you gave us the history of ICPA. I am sure the church and we, the Indians, we don't believe in history. Rather, we like to change the history. Nowadays, it is going on everywhere to change the past history. But you made the statement to catch up with the history and to document it. This is a historical day for all of us. When ICPA is celebrating Diamond Jubilee, and we are all so lucky to be part of that history of ICPA. So thank you so very much, Mr. Ignatius, for bringing this to our notice. Thank you so much, sir. Now about the 3 award winners of this year. Sister Robin C. Thank you, Sister Ganga, for reading out the citation. Sister Ganga, you dedicated your award to the Dalits of India, 90 million Dalits you mentioned. And that is a very touching thing, what award you have received, and you are dedicating about the people, to the people. Sometimes we don't even bother about them. So thank you so much for your concern for the downtrodden and congratulations to you for getting this award. Sri Joseph Gatia, a veteran journalist and journalist not only from our community journalism, but of a mainstream journalism. He has worked with so many different well-known publishing house, and what even Dr. Mary mentioned about his a small gesture, but it's a big thing to sit on the floor like. In fact, it is an Indian tradition that we don't sit in front of the dignitaries. Okay, so thank you so much, sir. And Sri Josh Kavi, a veteran of 40 years, 4 decades of journalism. Sir, we look at UConn and Matters India as a true product of journalism, giving the best news and the true news. And thank you so much, sir. And when you dedicated your award to your wife, Madam Rosamma, we say, behind every successful man, there's a woman. And Rosamma ma'am is that woman. So thank you to you, Kavi sir and ma'am, and the family. And many of us, we know when we spend time for any of the church activities, we sometimes forget our families also. But because of that family's support, we can do something. So thank you so much for bringing it to our notice, sir. And thank you to Sister Lizzie for reading out the citation. They say we should not forget any of the person like when you are thanking. So not the last, but thank you to the authorities of Ashir Bhavan. Last 2 days, or for some of us like 3 days, it was a wonderful stay. And all the people, the authorities and even the staff and everyone, they served us with smile on their face. So thank you so much, Ashir Bhavan authorities and staff. A big round of applause for Ashir Bhavan Group. In Gujarati, we have one proverb. I am from Gujarat, Ahmedabad. Morna inda chitarwa na pade. I think Father Cedric Prakash, if he is here, he'll understand that. So what you do outside, it comes from your background, from your family, from your upbringing and all. And that is what Neil Gonsalves is doing it since last 2 days, yesterday and today. Where is Neil? Neil is the proud son of proud father, Mr. Ignatius Gonsalves. And 2 days nicely he has done the Master of Ceremony. Thank you so much, Neil. It's very difficult to keep a smile on your face throughout 4 or 5 hours, but he is doing it since morning. Thank you so much, Neil. Please come forward. And before I finish, would like to say a big word of thank you to Kochi and Kerala. We have really, those who are out of Kerala, thoroughly enjoyed these 2 or 3 days of our stay in Kochi and experiencing the culture and the traditions of Kerala. So thank you so much, Kochi, all of you Kochiites and the Keralites. Thank you so much. And last, without forgetting, we thank God for giving all His blessings on all of us. Even though we were little spectacle about the rains and all that, we had some little problem, minor problem yesterday. But without much of a difficulties, we could finish all our activities, all our functions very nicely. So thank you, Lord. Thank you very much.
To the one who thanked everyone, a big thank you to you too, Sir Rajesh. Friends, we now stand up for the national anthem, with which we've conclude our function today. After which we'll have a group photo. I'll request all the dignitaries on the stage to kindly occupy the front row, and all of you from behind to somehow be in the frame for the photograph. And we shall now have the national anthem.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Request the dignitaries to kindly join us with all of us, and after which please do join us for a high tea that is being served as you walk out of the hall. Thank you.
An information to the ICPA members, we gather at the Synod Hall at 6 o'clock. We have 1 hour and 10 minutes Kit Kat break, and we gather at the Synod Hall at 6 o'clock for the AGBM. Please, for the ICPA members, we gather at 6 o'clock exactly. If you are late to come, then our supper also will be late. We need to complete the procedure of the AGBM today itself. And tomorrow after the Holy Mass, we will be proceeding to visit different parts of Kochi. So we need to complete our AGBM today itself. 6 o'clock at the Synodal Hall.